You often hear stories of missionaries who say, oh, yeah, I didn't eat for a while because I didn't have money for food. Yet your parents back home or you are literally paying money to go on a mission. So, Collette, how much did it cost to send Keylee?
It was $450 a month.
Oh my gosh. So $450 a month.
Yep.
You are paying to be a salesman for a company that doesn't, I mean, Keylee, how much did they give you for food? Or did you have like an allowance for food?
I got 2,000 pesos a month, and 40 pesos was equal to $1.
So what is that? I'm
So
bad with
it
math.
was
How much?
it was like $50. I got 50 of those.
$50 a
out of my
month?
$450. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you have $50.
Yeah, she did not have enough money for food.
Oh my gosh.
You could buy the bare minimum with what you were given because the families there were already poor.
Yeah.
So they're not very often inviting you over for lunches. And that's what
Yeah.
they're expecting. They're expecting for you to go to these families' houses for lunches. But if they can't feed their own family, they're not feeding the missionaries too.
Yeah.
And so they're expecting that of us, but most of the time it's not happening. And so we're cooking for ourselves. And every now and then, you could cook the bare minimum, but I was spending my own money if I wanted to, have good food.
Yeah.
I was like, I really want ice cream right now. Oh, well, that's 300 pesos, but it's worth it. I'm getting myself some ice cream.
Yeah, because you're 24/7 doing things for the church. You barely have any time to yourself. So I don't even know how you found the time to make yourself food. You would probably have to eat out often because you're out proselytizing, right?
Yeah, what me and my companions would do where we were living at one of my areas, we had a pizza place below us underneath our apartment. And so when we got home, it was around 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. We would go downstairs, grab some pizza or empanadas, and then we'd grab a small little Coke from the store that was next door to the pizza place, and then we'd go back upstairs and eat it. So that was our nightly ritual. Just
Oh my
pizza and
gosh.
Coke.
Pizza and Coke. So how was your health during that time?
I definitely gained weight on my mission.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, all the bread there too, very, very fattening. So I gained some weight on my mission for sure.
Okay. So you're not eating healthy. You're not sleeping very much because don't you have to wake up at around 6 a.m. for scripture study?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, 6 a.m.
6:30 a.m. And you're supposed to work out before, but when you're exhausted, you don't really want to work out. So instead you just sit there and do some yoga or something. You're like, okay, we're stretching. And then you start prayers and scripture study.
This is sounding like the military. The more and more I hear from missionaries, I'm like, this is even more intense than some people that I know who are in the military. So I know that you are having issues with your back. So explain to everyone what happened there and the support that you were or were not given.
Not. It was a great old time. So I guess it probably started all from getting a super bad stomach bug. I had super bad stomach issues. I could not eat. I was throwing up. It was the worst ever. And I was reading my journal the other night and it literally said I haven't eaten in a couple days, but it's fine, LOL. So it's that's how you feel as a missionary. You're I haven't eaten in a couple days, but it's fine. I remember hallucinating from that. I was hallucinating about chicken and cupcakes. It was horrible. But when I went to the hospital, they gave me a shot in my back and said, this will fix it. This will stop you from puking, but you need to eat rice and cheese to heal your other symptoms. So okay.
Rice and cheese. You were
yeah.
Not in America anymore. That's funny.
Yep. So then after that, I started to get a lump in my back, and it was where that shot injection point was. And that's kind of when I noticed that I started to have back pain. And I was okay, my back is hurting, but I kind of just slid it aside. I was okay, it's no big deal. But then it started to get progressively worse. And I was like, okay, is it from this lump in my back or is it something else? My back pain is killing me. And so we scheduled an appointment for me to go get my back looked at. But on our way to the appointment, I fell over and messed up my knee.
Oh.
So I instead had to get my knee checked out because it was like super swollen. And so they x-rayed that instead. But it was fine. Everything was fine. They just gave me anti-inflammatories. But he checked out my back and he was like, oh, it's just from the shot that they gave you. It's a little like cyst of fluid. It's fine. You'll be okay. The anti-inflammatory should actually help with that. It's like, okay, great. I got transferred to my new area and that's when it really got bad. I noticed that my back pain was just horrible. I felt really stiff all the time. It was radiating to my legs. If I walked for too long, I just wanted to like sit and just cry because it was the worst pain that I've ever felt before. And so eventually I, got in contact with my mission president's wife because that's who we're supposed to call if we have medical needs. And she told me, ibuprofeno. So she told me just to take ibuprofen. And I was like, okay, that's not going to cut it. Like there's something wrong. And after like time trying to just deal with her and tell her, no, there's something wrong, eventually the like mission doctor over the South American missions, he called and he said, I think that the nerve by that little ball in your back is what's causing the pain in your back. And so he decided to get me some muscle relaxers. So they issued muscle relaxers and didn't really do much, wasn't helping. And there was an hermana in our ward, and she was like, okay, you're in pain, and I can see it. I feel bad. Let's get you to a chiropractor or a physical therapist. So she recommended someone, and she's like, but to go here, you have to have an order from a doctor. So we went to a doctor, and I met with him, and he goes, oh yeah, let's get you some more muscle relaxers.
Oh my gosh.
And he like pulls open this cabinet, and he just like grabs this scoop of samples, and he like lays them on the cabinet, like on the table, and he goes, here's the muscle relaxers. And I'm like,
oh jeez.
So he just gives me all these drugs. And so I was like, okay, well, drugs are great. And then he proceeded to tell me, put lemon on your butt.
Okay.
He said to chop up a lemon in halves and put it on my butt, and that would stop my back pain.
Oh.
As a mom, she's emailing me saying, Mom, my back is really hurting. I am having a hard time walking. The doctor wants me to put a lemon on my ass. And I'm like, a lemon? And she's like, yeah. She sends me a picture of her laying down with this lemon on her butt. And I'm like, and that's going to solve the problem. Okay. I was so frustrated.
Gosh, I'm so glad you interjected. I was just about to say, Collette, what was going through your mind?
Yeah, lemon didn't work. I will say that. Lemon did not solve the problem.
Yeah. So, Collette, when she's telling you all of this, like, what is going through your mind as a mom? Like, your child is in this other country and no one's really helping her.
Oh, complete panic. Like, panic because I'm not there. I can't help her. I can only email her. So by the time I emailed her, I'm not getting a response till the next time we email.